CBC News continues to investigate in the aftermath to last year's deadly attack in Nova Scotia. You'll remember in our coverage of that, one of the critical parts of the story was the gunman using a lookalike RCMP car and being able to drive through the province to avoid detection at the time. Well, our investigation has learned that more than a year later, federal officials have only recently taken down detailed instructions on how to outfit an RCMP vehicle in the same way. Thomas Daigle has been working on the story. He is live with us this morning. Tell us more about what you've learned, Thomas, in these documents and how the gunman in Nova Scotia used them.
Heather, these are documents that were put on a federal procurement website in 2014 and again in 2018, back when the RCMP was looking for suppliers for new car decals. And in these documents, this is 80 pages long, there's another one that's another 80 pages, a trove of information about how to create those decal. Very precise specifications. We'll show you an example, but we're not showing some of the sensitive information that's included in some of these documents. But just this illustration shows where those decals go. And if you go deeper in these documents, you find the exact colors down to the exact shades, the placement, the exact measurements down to the centimeter, and the material needed to create those RCMP decals. And we know from search warrant documents released by the court in Nova Scotia that the gunman, about a year before his shooting rampage, actually looked at this website as he was doing research on how to create his mock RCMP cruiser that you see there that was captured on surveillance video during his rampage. So more than a year later, this remained online until just this week. I spoke about it with Tammy Oliver McCurdy, who lost 3 family members in those shootings.
It was like the RCMP handed it to them on a silver platter and said, here, why don't you just look like us, right? Like, no, we know this translates into deaths. We know this actually puts people at risk. So I don't know why over 13 months later, we're talking about this. It's
Well, part of the reason is the fact that, as you've just learned, Thomas, that these have just been taken offline yesterday, as you said, more than a year after the shootings. Why did it take so long?
It's either that no one connected the dots or no one thought that this could actually cause harm, even though court documents, like I said, showed that the Nova Scotia shooter used this information to create those RCMP decals on his lookalike cruiser. Here's a statement we received from the Director of Communications for Public Safety Minister Bill Blair. The design and detail of RCMP vehicle decals have not previously been considered classified or in need of safeguarding. But if it's possible to add a layer of security and ensure our communities are protected against criminals intent on deception and destruction, then we will do that. So Bill Blair ordering that the precise measurements and information from call to tender documents for RCMP vehicles be taken down. This is all due to CBC News inquiring just this week and asking the procurement services of the federal government, the RCMP, and the public safety minister why this was still online despite the fact that it had been used in last year's shootings. So the RCMP says it will now review its posting processes for when it puts calls out to tender for these RCMP decals. It seems like many people just didn't realize that this could be used in this way, but we know from a year ago, Heather, it can be used in a deadly way.
Thomas, thank you very much.